Okay, to start off, let's look at this image here. You can see all of these different organisms here and there, all members of the same species. So we say that they belong to the same population. And although they look similar, there are differences between their genes, their DNA. For example, one might have a gene for blue eyes, while another has a gene for brown eyes, while another has a gene for green eyes. All of these different versions of genes are called alleles. So in this case, there are 3 different alleles for eye color in this population. So now, let's define our key term, genetic diversity. Genetic diversity refers to the variety of genes within a species or a population. Now we can consider why genetic diversity is important by looking at this graph. On the x-axis here, we have the number of different alleles of a gene. On the y-axis, we have the number of individuals in a population that survive environmental changes. So if we go along here, we can see that the greater the number of alleles, the greater the number of survivors. Okay, so here's the question. Why does genetic diversity increase the chances of survival of a population? Well, consider this scenario here. We have a population of grass, or 2 different alleles, or 2 different versions of a gene for the height of the grass. So we have a short allele, and we have a tall allele. So we have 3 different genotypes. SS, which is homozygous dominant, so that's short. AS, which is heterozygous, so that's also short. And AA, which is homozygous recessive, so that's tall. Now imagine that a drought occurs, and we'll represent that by putting this line right here. Before the drought, we had 6 individuals of genotype SS, 3 of genotype AS, and 1 individual of genotype AA. After the drought, however, we see that the tall grass, the AA genotype, was advantageous because it could photosynthesize more efficiently. So now we have 5 individuals that survived. If we calculate the allele frequency after the drought, we will see that the frequency of the allele has increased from 1 out of 10 to 5 out of 10. So overall, population has more genetic diversity. Why is this important? Well, if we were to encounter another environmental change, perhaps a storm that uproots plants, well, then the AA genotype might not be advantageous anymore. But because there is more genetic diversity in this population now, because there's more alleles, there's a better chance that some of the genotypes will survive. Therefore, genetic diversity increases the chances of survival of a population.